It's about 4 a.m. I went to bed a little before midnight, and guess what? I'm done sleeping. I am not sleepy anymore, so I figured I'd get up, because the morning times are great times to think. Everything's quiet, everything's dark, and my mind is as fresh as it's going to be. Winston Churchill, in fact, he took a nap every day because he said it gave him 2 mornings. It gave him 2 times when he could wake up with his mind fresh and at its best. So I tend to get up early when I'm able, which is most of the time, and do things then that require the most thinking. Usually it's work related because I'm a programmer, so which requires a lot of thinking, as you might have anticipated. So I've got my Axio here. This is what I drink a lot of, Axio. That and a line of other products, supplements that I take from a company called LifeVantage. I've started in August, so since between then and now, it has really gotten me in a state of health that kind of pretty much rewound all of my clocks. About at least 10 years is what I would estimate, as far as stamina, as far as quality of sleep, how much sleep I need, mental clarity, all of that is pretty great, and other things, other aspects that come with gaining 10 more years of youth, right? So anyway, this morning, as I look, and it's 4 a.m. and our alarms are set for 5 because we have a 3-hour trip to make today up to Waco from San Antonio. It occurred to me, why don't you make breakfast for Jen so that when she gets up at 5, and for Josh, that food's already ready. And it's not just food, it's really good food. It's hot, it's delicious. So today, this morning, what occurred to me is, I wonder if we have everything to make biscuits and gravy. So I look in the refrigerator, and what do I see? I find some Jimmy Dean. And I think this is in reverse, which really is irritating, but if you can read backwards, it's Jimmy Dean sausage. And lo and behold, now I could make these biscuits from scratch, and I'm not afraid to, but I also found these Pillsbury Grands. There's 8 of them in here, there's 3 of us, and even though technically I could probably eat about 8 myself, I shouldn't, but I could. I figure there's enough there we can split them up and share it and have a good breakfast. Not too big, not too small, and delicious. So this morning I'm going to document my attempt, because I've never done this before, to make sausage gravy. Now, making the biscuits, I can pretty much preheat an oven and put those in. That's not that big a deal, as long as I get them out of the can without tearing them up. So I'm going to attempt to make sausage gravy. So I'm going to pause this while I Google a recipe, because I honestly don't. I know it's got milk and flour and sausage, and if there's anything else, I don't know about it. And I have no idea of the quantities, ratios, and steps involved with the milk and the flour and the sausage, except that I should cook the sausage first. But I'm going to find all that out and let somebody smarter than me guide me in this endeavor. And I'll get back with you in just a little bit and show you the progress. So one of the first things I see on the ingredient list for the recipe that looked good on YouTube, I went to YouTube, was poultry seasoning. So I got to try to find poultry seasoning. We have a lot of spices. I'm sure it's in there, but I don't know if you can see. It's kind of dark, but there's a lot of spices in there. I've already started burrowing, digging things out. So let me see if I can find some poultry seasoning. I saw butter on the recipe too. Fortunately, we have butter. We only use real butter. Margarine is just a bad idea, right? It doesn't come from anything. People fabricate it from something else. So we stopped using that years ago. So we only use real butter. I've got that. I think that was the only thing on the ingredients list, this poultry seasoning, that might present a challenge. And, it could be he had it out because his sausage wasn't already spiced. I don't know that yet. I was only 15 seconds in. But now I'm on the search for poultry seasoning, just in case I need it. Found some candidates. So the first one that jumped out at me was this one. Let's get him in the picture with me. You know what? You can't even see it. It's backwards, right? I'll read it to you. The first one that jumped out at me here is chicken fajita seasoning. Hey, that would probably be good, right? Let's look at the second candidate. The second candidate is even more exotic. Sorry to get the phone so close. Okay. Good morning. The second candidate is even more exotic. Montreal chicken seasoning. Ooh, that might be good. I've been to Montreal once. I don't remember eating the chicken there, but this is probably exotic and tasty. And the third candidate, I found this last. Getting close again. And this is probably actually the one we're going to have to choose, just because it's so obviously perfect. Paula Deen's poultry seasoning. Exactly what the recipe called for. So this will be the one we use. Poultry. Even though the others might taste good, I'll have to experiment later with those. So yeah, we're going to use this one. So I've got all my ingredients assembled, I think. And the first instruction he said was to preheat the oven to the temperature of the biscuits. But let me show you my ingredients first. Hopefully this won't be all in, well, it will be in reverse for you. Sorry about that. So I've got some flour here. I've got 3 cups of milk. I've got the sifter out just in case, you know, it might make the gravy better if I sift the flour into it. Then I've got my poultry seasoning and my butter and then the sausage. So that's all the ingredients he said I needed. Sounds right to me. It actually sounds like more than I thought I needed. So let's get the oven to 350. How do you do this? Look at all these buttons. There's so many buttons on this oven. How's a guy supposed to know how to do this? Let's see. Let's see, we got bake. Right, we're going to bake, obviously. Oh, it's 350 already. That's good. And start. Well, no. No. There's rapid preheat. Should I choose rapid preheat? Or should I choose start? You see, this is so confusing. This is so confusing. Like, there's too many choices. I like choices, but not excessive choices. Rapid preheat sounds good because I'm a convenience enthusiast, and rapid anything is usually good. But I have to assemble other ingredients and do stuff in the meantime, so I may not want it rapidly preheated. Maybe just preheated. Normal speed. So where's that? Where's that on here? Let's see. I'm gonna... No, not rapid preheat. Oh, it stopped on me there. Bake. I'm gonna say start. Let's see what happens. No, it says baking. No, it says preheating. Oh, okay, that's how you do it. Now I know. An ignorant man with bad head in the kitchen. But now I'm smarter than I was before I woke up. All right, I'm going to assemble some of these ingredients and get it going on the stove, and then I'll show you my progress and probably show you my grease burns too. All right, get back with you in a minute. So first thing that I was told to do, which makes sense, is brown the sausage, right? So I've got it in the pan here. Just going to chop it up. Get it browned. I've paused his video at that stage, so I don't know what comes next. He did mention to me that that for a thicker gravy, the secret is in how much flour you put in. And he mentioned we're only going to use 4 tablespoons to make some good thick sausage gravy, which astounds me. I was thinking like probably a cup, but apparently not. So let me brown this up and get to the next step, and I'll share that with you as well. I want to capture the first lesson learned, and that is use a skillet that has a handle, because I mean, this is a nice deep skillet. I don't know if you can tell, but it has a little tiny handle, and it gets really hot really fast. Ouch. And the pan moves around easy on the stove, so when I'm chopping the sausage and whatnot, I have to hold the pan still, and yet the handle is really hot. Now, of course, I'm no dummy. I know I could use a hot pad or one of those mittens, right? I could do that, and I will, if the pain gets to be too great. You know how men are. It only hurts a little, and a little pain never hurt anybody. It's one of my favorite famous self-made sayings that I say to the kids all the time, and not necessarily when I'm giving them pain, which I don't do. Rarely, very rarely, because I have great kids. So they're just great. I never have to hardly ever correct them. When I do, it's verbally. And believe me, my verbal corrections can be quite effective. They usually last about 30 minutes. And sometimes they involve some Bible study together with them. So they're very effective. All right, we get back on this. Probably need to chop the sausage up some more and stir it up, and so that it browns, all over, not just on one side. All right, see you in a minute. I gotta say, I am shocked and amazed at how little time this has taken to brown. I need to show you this. Look at that. I put it in, I showed it to you, I chopped it up, I put the lid on. Like a minute later, I open it up and it's almost done. I chop it some more, and now I put the lid back on for a second time, and look at that. If it gets any browner, I don't know, it's going to be all crispy. All right, I better stop recording now so I can go see what the next step is before this becomes too... Oh, I guess I could turn it off, right? Yeah, let's do that. There, genius, right? All right, let me see what the next step is. I'll be back in a minute. Now as I play the instructional video on to find out what next, he starts putting biscuits in the oven on a cookie sheet. All right, he never told me to put the biscuits on a cookie sheet, so now I'm behind. The sausage is already browned. The oven is at 250. It's not ready yet, but he never said take the biscuits and put them on a cookie sheet and be ready for when it's heated, when it reaches its destination temperature. He never told me that. I probably should have intuited it and been intuitive enough to know. Probably. But I'm going to count that as a fail on the instructional video. Total fail. Alright, but now I'm going to put these biscuits on this. Actually, it's a great cookie sheet. My wife is really into Pampered Chef, I think it is. Some kind of stoneware cookie sheet. It weighs a ton. You could literally murder someone with that cookie sheet. Maybe 2 people before it broke. It's solid. Alright, let me get these on there, and then I'll update you on the status of where we're at with our biscuits and gravy. Anybody else like this part? You know it's coming, but it still scares you? I'm sure I can do it with my thumb. Yeah. Whoa! I thought you'd want to experience that. It's a lot of fun, right? Oh yeah. Oven is now preheated. In the meantime, I did put these guys on this cookie sheet. Go ahead and put these into this raging inferno. Close that up. Now he said the next thing to do was for me to put 2 tablespoons of butter into this sausage. I'm going to need some heat probably. Turn it back up. I hope I don't make you seasick moving this camera around. I'll try to be mindful. Now here's beauty, right? The butter package tells me when I hit 2 tablespoons. That's beautiful. I just cut it on the line. I learned that in kindergarten. So, I'm going to have to unwrap this, right? It's got paper on it. Of course, I'm doing everything with one hand here. You know what? Let me just tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it, then I'll show you the results. I'm going to put this butter in here without the paper. Take the paper off. I'm going to put in 3.5 tablespoons of flour. Mix that all up real good. And when that's all mixed real good, I'm going to dump all the milk into this pan. And then I'm going to add a little bit of Lorna Doones, or whatever her name is, Paula Deen's poultry seasoning, and some pepper to the milk. And then I'm going to let it all heat up to a simmer, probably getting close to a boil. I have to check the instructions again, see how hot to get it, but that's what we're going to do. Let me do that and I'll show you the results. Let's stir this butter in here. I said I was going to do all the steps and then show you, but I thought I guess if you don't know what butter looks like when it melts, you can see it melting. I'm just going to make sure this is touching some of the surface we need to touch. Mix it up real good as it melts. All right, let me get this all melted because that's how he did it. And then he put the flour in after the butter was melted. So let me do that. Back in a moment. All right, flour time. Butter's all melted. And guess what? I found a little piece of paper in there from the butter. I didn't get it all. I'm glad I saw it. That would have been an interesting bite for somebody, right? So I said 3.5. So there's one. One. I did learn how to count in kindergarten too. 2. Notice how I lovingly sprinkle it all over and I don't just dump it in one spot. That's just my little touch. 3, was that 3? 1, 2.5. Now, I tend to be the kind of guy that says, if a half is good, 1 is better. But in this case, I think I'll follow his advice. And there's my half. All right, that's 3.5 of those. All right, let me mix this up. Be right back. Is that not just the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Let's smell it. It smells pretty good. So the flour's in there, the butter's melted, it's all mixed up. I took time to chop the meat a little more so that nobody gets bigger chunks than anyone else. You gotta be fair, right? So let's get the milk. I'm gonna put that. He said just dump it in, so dump it in we shall. Beautiful. Now the next thing he said to do was put in some poultry seasoning. Oops, I guess I should look at what I'm doing. He said a little bit. You know, here I go again with that. If a little's good, a lot's better. But I'm going to try to be sparing. Okay, we'll just call that good because I have no idea if it's enough or not. And I'll put some cracked black pepper on, which we almost always just grind our own because you can't get better, tastier than that. So I'll put some of that on, which requires 2 hands, obviously. And stir that up, and then I'll have to play the video some more to see what's next. All right, I shall check in a minute. All right, things are looking pretty good. Here, take a look. It's boiling now. I'm going to keep stirring it as it's boiling because it's reducing itself and getting thicker, right? So, there it is. Now, I think it's real important to keep stirring it. You don't want it to, what do you call it, scorch, scald, or whatever on the bottom. So, yeah. And I didn't, you know, as I watched on into the video, the guy mentioned, oh, I forgot to set the timer on the biscuits. So, therefore, so did I. I have no idea. He said it takes 14 minutes, and so I'm counting on his assessment that the biscuits should be done when the gravy's done, but I will keep an eye on them as well. So, you know, look at I'm stirring while I talk. How many of you guys can do 2 things at once like that? That's coordination and talent, I'll tell you what. Okay, let me keep stirring this. I'm going to baby it like nobody's business to make sure that it doesn't burn and it thickens up just right. And just right means the way I like it. And Jen's alarm just went off too, so uh-oh, got a little extra boiling going on. Turn that down to low. There we go. Get that monster under control, which means she'll be downstairs in just a few minutes after she powders her nose. So hopefully this will be well enough on its way that I can make a huge deposit into my emotional bank account with her. Because, and fellas, you need an emotional bank account well stocked with your wife because of those times when you're an idiot and you do things that really perturb her. And you know you're doing it. You're being a bonehead. You're being a little baby, throwing fits, saying things you know you shouldn't. Those are the times when your emotional bank account comes in handy. So biscuits and gravy, probably one way to make a deposit against those times. All right, I'll get back to this and update you when there's something to update you on. All right. And fellas, the gravy's great for making emotional bank account deposits. But you also need to clean up after yourselves, okay? To make her a great breakfast and then make her clean up your mess, bad form, Jack. So put your stuff away, all right? It's not that hard. You made the mess, right? You tell your kids that. You made the mess. Clean it up. So clean it up. Yeah, you got the flour out, put it up. No big deal, easy peasy, and you get a lot of credit for it. At least, I hope so. I'm pretty sure. And even if you don't, it's the right thing to do, right? So put your stuff on. Now, that said, there's also dishes to wash, right? So you have to do that too. You will have to do that too. All right, let's get these biscuits out. They look, ooh, see the steam? They look delicious. Yeah, they look just right. Nothing feels better than to do a job that comes out feeling just right. And you can see our gravy now. Oh, it's thickened up real good. I'm about ready. I think I'm going to turn the heat off now because it'll keep thickening even after the heat's off. So, yeah, then I'm going to dish up a plate, peel an orange, get her spot all ready for her. It's going to be great. Okay, timing's perfect. I think I hear her walking around up there. I think she's ready for her day and coming down. Check it out. See what I did. I got her biscuits and gravy on a plate. Peeled her a little orangey thing halfway to be ornamental for effect, like a flower, right? And then I made her a glass of water with half a lemon squeezed into it, nice and refreshing. Folded her napkin up nice, like a little triangle. Alright, I think she's coming. Well, that ought to buy me some points, right? Not that I need them. I think I have, my bank account's pretty full. But I do, on occasion, tap into it. So, alright, that's how you've got to watch me make biscuits and gravy, learn how to do it. A few mistakes there. But now I'm going to eat it. Check it out. This is the final product. Nice and thick. Kind of brown, too. Probably from the grease, I'm imagining. From the sausage grease, I don't know. But it looks good to me. It sure smells good too. You ought to smell it. And I'll fix Joshy a plate too so he can wake up to a nice, gorgeous breakfast with gorgeous presentation. And this is Doug, Bedhead Doug today, signing out. Thank you for joining me. I think. Keep hearing her walking around. Come on downstairs, Jen. Come on down, girl. Here she comes. See how long before she notices me here.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you filming me?
I am. I wanted to see your face when you first saw it. And find out how much emotional bank account I have just made.
Well, you got quite a bit.
What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, my first time.
How long have you been up?
Since 4.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
What do you think? Is it too much?
No.
I might have given you too much.
No.
In which case, I'll take your plate and you can fix another.
That's fine.
You like it?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Yeah. I gotta go get Joshy up.
Yeah.
But I did want to, also this recipe I made, looks like it's just enough for 3 people. I mean, there's extra biscuits, but gravy-wise, that was a 3-person recipe, 3 adults.
Where'd you find your recipe?
YouTube, of course. Which is where this is going. Right. Still some dishes. I'll have to do those later. Or some of them anyway. At least mine. Probably should do them all. Right.